The snail shell-shaped building in progress is the Azerbaijan Pavilion. Organizers say it will allow visitors to learn the country's traditional culture and experience the charm of its art after it opens later this month.
Just progress all the time, so dynamism. You see how it develops all the time, so the shapes change, the circles gets bigger and or it gets another form, so this is how it is very dynamic.
The Japan Pavilion is sitting close to the Azerbaijan Pavilion. The structure is in the form of a traditional Japanese house style, and the main features of the building are built with rocks and wood. The yard is decorated with trees and flowers. The main structures of the 16 international pavilions are nearly finished. The construction team are working on the decoration of the houses to make sure they're ready for the opening ceremony of the expo.
We have high expectations from this expo. We are very happy to promote our country, to represent our country in this platform. We want it to show at the same time the close relationships between these two nations.
Beijing Expo 2019 is slated to open on April the 29th.
The issuance of China's asset-backed securities totaled over 2 trillion yuan in 2018. That was the fourth straight year that ABS remained among the largest in Asia, second largest globally. Foreign investors previously showed particular interest in Chinese auto ABS products. Now they want more communications with domestic regulators to help more brokers provide sufficient liquidity and attract additional investors.
As the regulator opened up the financial sector even more, foreign investors gradually changed their attitude from wait and see to have a try. Foreign investors might have felt strapped before, because it's hard to fully understand the fundamentals of issuers and regulators' roadmap to implement the opening. We need more opportunities for top regulators and the market's leading participants to exchange views with players from multiple sectors.
Right now, the Chinese ABS market are dominated by the bank investors. But in order to diversify the investor group, you need to attract mutual fund and also some hedge fund and pension fund and insurance company. First is to set up a very good liquidity, and then to build a very simple and transparent, straightforward deal structure, and then to provide data transparency, and then to get foreign investors to be more comfortable with that market.
Until now, there have been 3 major approaches for foreign investors to access China's ABS market: Bond Connect, the China Interbank Bond Market, and QFII.
The usual trappings of a fashion design studio. But Zhang Na, the mastermind behind the Shanghai-based brand Re Clothing Bank, has built her career on the unusual. Using materials wasted and discarded by the industry, including used clothes, she says she has been mounting her rebellion against the system.
I'm in an industry that moves so fast, season after season. And then there is fast fashion. I have seen piles of leftover clothing dumped out. And I want to design, actually redesign, the used and give them new life.
She started almost 10 years ago, at first working with donated second-hand clothing.
像这样子的一块布，它大概会有19个塑料瓶。
And now, she goes one step further back, using actual refuse for raw material.
因为其实这些再生面料
Many don't realize that you can actually keep costs down with recycled materials, while also keeping your carbon emissions down.
第一是比同等的这个材料，它会更便宜。
What Re Clothing Bank rolls out is not cheap, and that's part of Zhang's design concept.
We hope the good design and the quality will win over buyers, who will not let go of the clothes again.
She says the idea has been taking hold as her clientele have changed from those with a high sense of social responsibility to people from all walks of life and across China. For example, 1,000 kilometers away in Beijing, fashion aficionado Wang Yuting says the green concept is the icing on the cake.
I was first attracted to the design, especially these prints. I really like the collars. Then I learned about the sustainability behind it, and that's a plus.
Zhang has bigger visions too. She hopes one day Reclothing Bank will bankroll the basic necessities of life to become all sustainable and lovable.
Michele, a store supervisor at this Italian deli in London, is one of the over 1.2 million Europeans living in the capital.
I came here in 2014, so it's 5 years last January, and obviously this is my new home. I'm happy here. I have a family, a little child, expecting the second one. So yeah, we would like to stay as long as possible.
With people like Michele in mind, the UK government is launching a multi-million-dollar media campaign to encourage EU nationals to secure their post-Brexit status and register for permanent settlement. The majority of Michele's co-workers must also apply, leaving their boss worried about staffing levels.
Obviously, it's going to make it hard. I mean, already for me as a business, I'm struggling finding good staff.
So for many hundreds of thousands of EU citizens, the process is likely to be fairly straightforward. But there is concern that many could fall through the cracks, potentially leaving them with no lawful right to remain in the United Kingdom.
Campaigners say the consequences of failing to register will be extreme, and there is unease about vulnerable citizens.
You will become victim, potentially, to the hostile environment of the UK. It means that you potentially face being removed. It means that you will not be able to work. It means that you will not be able to access certain healthcare services. It means potentially you will not be able to open a bank account or rent or drive a car.
Some EU nationals who came together after the Brexit vote to campaign for their rights are worried and angry.
It's irresponsible for any country to change the status of people that already live here. This is our home. We live here, we build our families, we had babies here, we loved here. And suddenly we're told, oh, you're not like us.
However, other EU citizens are embracing the new settlement scheme.
Would you like to try one praline?
One of them is Véronique Marvien, who has lived in the UK for 20 years and runs a profitable business in European treats.
I'm aware of all the new rules. So just to apply, to be able to stay here and to carry on of my business, and after to apply for the British citizenship.
Meet the master recyclers. These black soldier flies are capable of converting 3 tons of food waste into 1 ton of fertilizer per week.
Technically, it's the larvae that are doing the heavy lifting work. The larvae munch on food waste and turn it into fertilizers. Additionally, these larvae and pupae can be sold as animal feeds.
Darren Ho is the founder of Insecta, Singapore's first urban insect farm. Since he became a farmer 5 years ago, he's committed to create a production system where nothing goes to waste.
Food waste, they have a lot of moisture, so it's very hard to burn them away. In that sense, when we feed them into something else, a value-added media like an insect, we'll be able to get more out of it.
Food accounts for about 10% of the total waste generated in Singapore, but only 13% of it is recycled. The rest of it is disposed for incineration, which produces greenhouse gases. The government hopes to change that. In February, Singapore pledged 2019 as the year towards zero waste. The Minister of Environment and Water Resources also launched a year-long fight to lower food wastage, encouraging people to order only what they can finish.
Food wastage, a lot of it. You go to hawker centers, you see people wasting food, they just eat about 20-30% and then a lot of it gets disposed. It's quite prevalent.
What about the master recyclers, you might ask? Currently, Insecta can only get their food waste from breweries and soya bean manufacturers due to regulations. But Darren wants to do more.
Post-consumer waste is something that we want to focus on, but right now regulatory requirements only allows us to turn pre-consumer waste. And we still want to capture the wasted nutrients that we don't eat in the food waste that's normally meant for human and turn that into a usable protein through the insect.
One of the key measures of Singapore's zero waste master plan is that from 2024, all hotels and malls will have to separate their food waste from other trash. This can be good news for companies like Insector, as their voracious fly army will have more to chew on.